defined disorder. Hi everyone, I'm Punita Yadav, and before I start the presentation, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm on the land of Daruk people who are the traditional owners of this land. This presentation is aimed at the early childhood professionals, and it is to share my understanding of a behavior disorder called oppositional defiant disorder. And further, I'll be sharing some strategies to support the child, the family, and all those who may be affected by due to this disorder of the child. Overview. I'll start with the definition of oppositional defiant disorder, that is ODD, some causes, symptoms, and implications of it, some early intervention and inclusive teaching strategies, followed by behavior management plans to support the child. And I'll end it with sharing some strategies to create a successful learning environment for the child and the other children coming at the childcare setting. What is oppositional defiance disorder or ODD? It is defined as a repetitive and persistent pattern of opposition, defiant, disobedient, and disruptive behaviors toward authority figures persisting for at least 6 months. The child opposes and defies to whatever he is told or asked to do. The child gets hostile when asked to do things. As you can see in the picture, that describes the child who is very angry. Maybe he is asked to do something and he has defied it. Characteristics of ODD. The child gets annoyed and irritated easily, repeated temper tantrums, gets into repeated arguments with parents and familiar adults like the educators, disobeys rules, tries to annoy others on purpose, suffers from so low self-esteem and is very less resilient. The child basically looks at ways to blame others, his peers, for any of their bad behavior. What could be the influencing factors? Some genetic influences like hyperactivity, oppositional and conduct problems, impulsive behavior, and tendency to seek rewards, they could be causing that. Further, prenatal factors and birth complications, malnutrition, lead poisoning, and mother's use of alcohol during pregnancy could be causing this kind of a behavior. However, there is no strong evidence that ODD is caused by biological factors. Some neurobiological factors like injury to a certain part of the brain may cause serious behavioral problems in children. Social cognitive factors playing the role could be immature forms of thinking like egocentrism, where the child is not able to differentiate between his own self and others, failure to use verbal mediators to regulate his or her own behavior, cognitive distortions, such as interpreting a neutral event as an intentional hostile act, and maybe limited social knowledge. And the last is the environmental factors. There could be the improper parenting practices, some conflict between parents or the adults in the household, the child witnessing antisocial behavior, dysfunctional family, or low socioeconomic conditions, neglect, and inconsistent care. This could be, it has been known that environmental factors usually play the largest role in a child having this kind of a disorder. So, the symptoms, it may not be that the child is directly presenting with the first symptom as not listening to the adults or defying everything that the adults say. He to for us to put the child in the category of OTD, there has to be a consistent observation of the child's behavior, and he would be usually presenting with losing temper easily, is very touchy or easily annoyed, angry and resentful. The child may be frequently arguing with educators or the older children in the at the childcare setting. The child refuses to comply with requests from the educators, or maybe following the rules like transition times, or following the rules like putting the books in the table when they are going out or packing up. The child deliberately annoys others, blames others for his or her own mistakes or his own behavior, and the child is vindictive at least twice within the past 6 months. So the observations and running records are maintained over the period of time, and when and analyzed over the period of 6 months before the child can be put in the category of ODD. How could this affect the child or the other children and everyone coming in contact with this child? So, this behavior of the child causes considerable distress for the family or interferes significantly with academic or social functioning. It prevents the child from learning at school or making friends. This kind of a behavior where the child is very frustrated and getting angry, this places the child in a harmful situation and social isolation. There would be inability to develop meaningful relationships because the child is so angry and resentful with other children. Maybe the other children do not want to be friends with him. And eventually, this causes a great impact on the educational settings because other children are getting affected too. How can we support this a child with ODD? One is by National Disability Insurance Scheme (NDIS). They provide a behavior support. They the family is referred to NDIS through the ways of the GP, and the GP referring the child to the psychologist or a pediatrist, and the NDIS assesses the case of the child, and they may provide funding to the educational care setting for appointing another extra educator on the days that this child is attending, so that more one-to-one attention could be given to this child. They could also provide support to the families, respite care, and for the families to cope with this kind of a situation. And the other kind of support service is the triple P, that is the positive parenting program. It is like a toolbox of ideas, and the parents are given some strategies. It is up to them what they want to adapt, and practice with the child. But basically, they guide them to manage a child with misbehavior so that everyone in the family can enjoy a peaceful life, because not everyone has to undergo that kind of a witness that kind of a behavior of the child and be affected by that, because obviously this kind of a behavior um, stresses out the family and everybody present in the family. Some teaching strategies. First, it is very important to accept that the child will behave in disruptive ways. Once we have accepted that, it will become easy for us to look into the problem and make a appropriate behavior management plan with the help of the health professionals. Help the child to improve his or her own behavior and manage their strong emotions like anger or violent behavior or or resenting or throwing a temper tantrum. This can be done by supporting the child to this can be done by supporting the child to manage to improve his social skills, because we can show the child that when he is using positive behavior strategies, positive behavior ways of approaching other children, he could make more friends and play with other children. But all said and done, it is important to be sensitive to the self esteem of the child, and praise the positive behaviors whenever the child displays positive behavior, like when they're sitting in a group. If the child is listening and waiting for his turn, raising his hand for speaking out, it would be advisable to praise the child so that the self-esteem is boosted. Some caregiving approach. It is very important to be clear and consistent. Like, for example, if we are giving an instruction to the child, uh, if you can eat lunch now, or you can eat after you're finished playing with the truck, so the child knows that he needs to be eating lunch as soon as he's done by playing with the truck. Achieve Set up achievable play experiences and learning environment. The reason for this is, how I would like to explain this is that if some challenging experiences are set up for the in the on that day at the childcare setting, the child may feel frustrated by not being able to do it, and that could trigger uh, the opposing behavior. And it is very important to collaborate with the families and the other educators in the room. The family could share what has been working with the child, or if the child has a rough morning, the teachers or the educators at the center could be aware of, they could be prepared with some strategies how to support the child during the day. Additional strategies could be deliver a consequence. How I'd like to explain this is, when we are giving clear and consistent instructions to the child, added with a consequence, it would help the child to understand how his actions or how his behavior is impacting other things. Say, for example, if the child is being very loud in the room, we could say, um, you being loud indoors is not okay, and the next time you do that, you will need to play outdoors. So the child would know when he is using loud voice inside, he needs to go outside. That's the consequence for the child. In such cases, use the words that the child would understand and give a reason why this good behavior is important to the child. Say, when the child is using soft voice inside, and if you praise him, say, um, making the right choices, like, it's good to see that you're using your inside voice today. This really helps other children to play indoors. So the child would know how he making the right choices is doing good, is favorable for other children in the childcare setting too. And this would also help the child to feel confident. And it is very important to role model the behavior that we would like the child to learn, and hence practice the new behavior and then reduce the consequence. Some more suggestions: caregiving strategies for the parents. Acknowledge and praise the positive behavior of the child. Parents need to learn to not engage in each episode of defiant or opposing behavior of the child. Some cognitive behavioral therapy, where the parents need to learn to cope with the stress that is caused by the child's behavior. They need to learn the strategies. Again, this they can learn from the triple P program that I mentioned earlier. Social skills: engage in activities or hobbies that are besides caring and raising the child, to de-stress themselves. Communicate with the educators and seek support. What strategies are working for the educators at the childcare setting? And the parents need to manage their own stress by exercise and relaxation. Suitable learning environments and experiences. So for that, it is important to create favorable learning environment for everyone. By everyone, I mean is not just the child with ODD, but also all the other children attending the childcare setting when this child is attending. Because besides addressing and supporting the learning needs of the child with ODD, it is important to support the children with typical learning needs as well. And hence, a smaller group experience is very favorable in this kind of a situation, where the child with ODD gets one-to-one interaction and attention from the educators, as well as the other children also get their own time of one-to-one attention from the educators. And for achieving all this, it is important for the educators to be prepared with experiences and strategies beforehand. Say they know the child is coming on Thursdays and Fridays, they need to be prepared with the kind of experiences that they could set up for this child. And if one thing doesn't work up, what they could set up another thing that the child likes to do or is of interesting to the child. These are some of the caregiving strategies, learning experiences, and approaches that I have shared here in the presentation. Um, I have read about this disorder from some of these references that I mentioned here. However, I hope this was informative to everyone who has attended it. Thank you very much.